the last 8 years, the Nigerian diaspora sent approximately $168 billion to Nigeria, according to data compiled from the World Bank. This is due, of course, to the country's fluctuating foreign investment inflow during the time under review, which did lead to a shortage of foreign currency and subsequent free depreciation of the naira. Remittances from Nigeria's diaspora have been a major factor in reducing the effects of currency shortage and maintaining the nation's foreign exchange reserves, according to data from the World Bank and the Budget Office of the Federation. Still in Nigeria, Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State has warned that the federal and state governments might not be able to pay salaries till the end of the month. Labor Minister Chris Ngige has brushed off this threat, this warning. Speaking on television, he called Obaseki's assertion an alarm and reassured workers that the federal government has the resources to implement the suggested salary increase of 40%. According to Ngige, the planned salary hikes and their payments have been budgeted for, and 350 billion naira has been allocated for them in the 2023 appropriation budget. Joining us to discuss further is Arise Business Analyst Chika Mbonu. Chika, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you today?
Fine, thank you, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
So we'll just discuss.
Let's talk about diaspora.
Yes, the remittances, of course.
I mean, Nigeria gets foreign exchange, I think, from 3 or 4 major sources. First one is, of course, the biggest one, the oil through oil,
yes,
oil proceeds. And then second one is non-oil exports. And then you have FPIs, following portfolio FDIs and FPIs. Yes. And of course, maybe loans, and then this diaspora remittances. Yeah. If you go through the 4 or 5 I've mentioned now, let's go through oil, see how you struggled throughout the whole year. By the time our production even fell below 1 million barrels a day. And then we'll turn around to use that again to bring in PMS into the country. Yeah. That's petrol into the country. So you find that the creation to reserves little or none. FPIs, foreign portfolio investors, you know what's happened. Yeah. They literally run away, once to the safer geographies, once has a problem. Foreign direct investment, so the report that has been sinking and sinking. Non-oil exports, we have been struggling to make that move. And so the one that has been very consistent has been the diaspora remittances from our brothers and sisters in various countries in the world. I mean, the story used to be told that any country in the world that you go to and don't see Nigerians, you better just pack your bag and leave immediately, But be that as it may, you could say, during COVID, I mean, came down about $17 billion. After COVID, rose again, understandably. 2021, about $19 billion, and 2020 moved up to this, what you just showed in the screen, about $20 billion. So, what are the issues? The first issue is the one me and you know, the increase in JACPA. I hope I pronounced it right. Yes. JACPA for our non-Nigerian viewers basically is the immigration of Nigerians to abroad. To go and look for better living there. The second one also has to do with the CBN introduced Naira for Dollar program, where they were paying $5 for any diaspora that sent in his dollars or remittances through CBN approved remittance companies. They got additional five Naira on top of the remittances. And so that is basically that. But if you look at the immigration reports pushed out by for example, the UK government, that supports what we're talking about. Yes. The report shows that student visas increased by more than 200%.
Wow.
Within a period of 2021 and 2022. Yeah. So that can tell you what's happening. And then work visas increased by more than 100%. But let me put it here for the Nigerians also that when your brother or sister goes to UK, you need to find out which one it is first before you start harassing them for money. For those who go on student visas, usually a struggle for the first 2 years because most of them are students going to school, manage to pay their school fees, and then have 20 hours, for example, in UK to work and earn and cover their living, pay their accommodation and so on and so forth. So there's little room for them to send monies abroad. But those who go on work visas, even before they land there, everything's set for them. So in other geographies, as I mentioned sometime in this program, I know that we have a department or agency that looks at that after diaspora. but in other geographies is major.
Yeah.
They're helped. Because one of the issues that happen is that some of them don't have identity cards. Embassies of other countries have actually, looked at their citizens who are in these countries who are not, properly situated, and actually help them get ID cards, enable them open bank accounts in those countries. So we need to intentionally, just like India does, just like Pakistan does, and some other countries, focus on our diaspora, because there lies in, one of the solutions to our problems in foreign exchange.
Okay, and you think that can actually, going forward, will we still be relying more on the diaspora remittances than the other sources?
I mean, the PwC report, I think, quite rightly said that indeed the diaspora remittances have become more reliable than our oil process.
Than oil.
Oil. That comes from oil. And therefore, we should focus a lot more on that. And I guess that's why Central Nigeria did that. The other thing that some of us pushed out to Central Bank was to go also and do town hall meetings. Actually go visit, look for the clusters that have the highest number of Nigerians, and visit those countries and sit down with them and talk with them, find out their challenges and find out how they can, do more with our country. We make investment in Nigerian stock exchange, in the real estate markets, because you see the stories every time now in the Instagram where Nigerians send money home to build houses, and their uncles and brothers and whatever just take the money and do something else. They tell you the building is on the 6th floor, meanwhile that's just 2 blocks on the ground floor. So things like that can happen if there are town hall meetings and visitations around the whole world. At least selecting the countries where you have clusters. I think it's a more certain sort of foreign exchange earnings for a country than other means. You saw the Sub-Saharan Africa, it grew by more than 5%, and Nigeria has got the major part of it.
Right. I want to get your thoughts on the Obaseki and Chris.
Governor Obaseki had in the past, he's an investment banker, had in the past talked about this issue. And I remember that, I think about 3-4 years ago, everybody vilified him. You see, that spending, the government spends money. That's pack it to one side, pay salaries, acquire properties and assets and other kind of assets. Whether it's the presidential jets or hospitals, they're spending money. The issue is how do they fund it. So for those who were criticizing Governor Obaseki the last time, that when he thought about this issue and that government is printing money. People were attacking him until the CBN report came out and said that CBN ways and means to the government of Nigeria, it was actually about 21 trillion. I wonder where people were there, how people were, why people didn't apologize to him. Of course, I've come to this program and told you that we have seen the highfalutin agenda of the incoming government. And I asked you, I said, where's the money? Where's the money? And I told you, don't be surprised if we go back to ways and means again to fund the incoming government, because you look around, where's the money going to come from? Governor Obaseki was, said if there is either that printing of money or subsidies removed, and he was talking like a professional, and so but Sangige is also more politician maybe than him, so he's talking more real, and Gige talking about politics. The issue is that, the salaries will be paid. No civil servant is being owed salary. But the issue is, how is that salary funded? Right. And so part of the ways and means of the government has gone towards what? Funding the salaries. And that's what the Governor Obaseki is saying. That if you increase worker salary, how are you going to fund it? Is it from oil that we're struggling to cover break-even? Revenues are not coming from there. Taxes, we're still struggling. So the only thing remaining is ways and means. 21 trillion is a lot of money. So it tells you, that's almost like in those days about 2 years budget of the country. It tells you that is where it's going to go to. And as I look around, search around in the short term, I do not see where the money is going to come from to fund the government. At least as they take over from May 29. The recourse, I think, will substantially go to ways and means.
Wow. So just a minute to go. Looking ahead, as far as our fiscal structure is concerned, the borrowing is most likely going to increase.
Yeah, at least in the short term. until, remember this program talked about getting right to oil, going to the, find out what the problems are with all those who are prospecting oil, whether it's downstream or upstream, whether it's onshore or offshore, and make sure that leakages are addressed. Oil theft is, put to almost near zero, so that the common wealth of the country comes into the Nigerian pockets. Let's do that, and then plug the leakages in expenditure. Reduce expenditure living of the government, or the civil servants and the government, and then we know that we can move forward and reduce the debt. Remember, the 21 trillion is still hanging there.
Exactly.
It has not been, regularized. It's still hanging there, and the government is paying at, I think, LIBOR plus, I think, 5% on it. Wow. So you can imagine the interest servicing that ways and means.
Gosh, it's a lot to look forward to. All right, Business Analyst Chika Mbonu. Chika, thanks for taking us to that. Appreciate your time.